Hello there, friends, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy VI. Last time, we found ourselves here in Moblitz, where we have heard some very interesting stories. Some stories about crazy wildmen, and others about potential ways of us getting back to Narsh. And today, we're going to be following up on just one of those pieces of information, and no, it is not the way back to Narsh. And instead, we're going to go ahead and investigate the Wildmen. Now, we already have a decent idea of who they're talking about, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and try to prove our theory correct. And we're going to be starting here today at the item shop. There's one NPC I did not talk to previously, and it is this fella. I threw some dried meat to a herd of hungry animals last time I was out on the Veldt, and would you believe it? Some kids scrambled out of the herd and ran off with it. We saw that dried meat was being sold here in the item shop, which is not an item that we normally use. But let's go ahead and buy one. If it seems like we can somehow make friends with whoever is out in the Veldt with this, then this might not be a bad idea. Also, we get to listen to the amazing music here in the Veldt. But that's not all. The Veldt does not only have amazing music, but it's amazing music. Come on, give me a fight. Continues into combat, which is the coolest thing. We get to listen to amazing music. So, as I mentioned in the previous episode, every single enemy that is currently registered in your bestiary as a normal enemy can be encountered here in the Veldt. And sometimes after combat, wow, you'll meet Gao. And if you give Gao... Ooh, I'm hungry. If you give Gao dried meat... What a peculiar child. I am Cayenne, and this is Sir Sabin. You Sabin, you Cayenne. Me want more food. Sorry, all gone. You go get more from me. You're a regular little munchkin, aren't you? And you afraid of me. You want some of this? Me not want hurt you. Stop looking at me like that. You're pretty tough for a little guy. That fun, you strong. You fall for it, fall for trick. Shut up. Oh dear, do simmer down, sirs. And thou, O wild one, who might thou be? Thou? Thou. You angry? Cayenne. You angry me? Cayenne? You angry me? Cayenne? You angry me? Listen, his family was just... It's a long story, but... Just try to be nice, okay? Me understand. Me sorry. Gao not me in person. Water under the bridge. Let us not dwell on such things. Sir Gao, I have a feeling we will get along quite well. Wilt thou join us? Ooh, Gao give you present. Gao give Cayenne and Sabin nice present. Thanks for food. Oh, right. What manner of rubbish do you suppose he's gonna give us? Gao's treasure, shiny. Shiny. How shiny can this junk be? Mr. Dow's like shiny thing? Mr. Thou's that one over there. A shiny thing, eh? Locke's gonna be jealous when he hears about this. Who Locke? He bad man? Maybe he tried to steal Gao's treasure. Locke, well, he's... Listen when someone's talking to you. I believe he's trying to tell us something. Fine. Well, what is it? Here! Shiny thing here! Where Sabin is, that Moblitz. Cayenne, stand, place, river, bring you. Gao, stand. Crescent Mountain. Moon-shaped mountain. Shiny thing there. Well then, shall we be off? We might as well see what is at this Crescent Mountain of his. Why did we have to invite someone like him along? Mr. Thou, hurry up! We leave you behind. I told you before, my name is not Mr. Thou. Don't be like that, Sabin. In fact, we've got a nice little imp here to tell us a little bit about Gao. Here's how to build up Gao's skills. 1. During battle, choose Leap, a command that appears only when you are on the Veldt. 2. Keep fighting on the Veldt, and eventually, Gao will reappear. 3. When he reappears, he will have learned the attacks of the monsters you were fighting when he left, as well as those you were fighting when he returned. Wow. 4. Choose Rage to have Gao use any of the attacks he has learned. And now, please continue on your quest. That's a nice little... Oh, sorry there, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. That's a nice little introduction to Gao. Oh, nice. But yeah, he's a fairly unique character. Let's go ahead and take a look at him real quick. You know what? I think it would be a bit better if we got to know him a little bit more professionally. So, here you go. Okay, with Gao here, we have a lot to cover and not a lot of time to do it. So let's just jump right in. Now, as you can see, Gao's stats are fairly unique compared to anyone else we've seen so far, sporting pretty good numbers across the board, including an insane 99 base attack power. Gao is a versatile and capable fighter, being able to mold himself into a pretty strong physical or magical attacker. Due to how his rage gimmick works, which we'll get to in a second, Gao can really fit into any role you want him to. Now, that powerful stat spread mainly exists because Gao is a character that cannot naturally equip weapons, outside of very specific circumstances. This means that the only thing you need to really prioritize when it comes to outfitting Gao is boosting his base stats and survivability. This can be achieved by giving Gao armor and relics that raise his evasion or grant him resistances. In fact, Gao might be the character that benefits the most from gear that reduces the damage of elemental attacks or grants ailment immunities. The reason behind this is tied to his rage system, so keep this information in your back pocket for now. But before we talk about rage, let's quickly go over what you should have Gao invest in magicite-wise. Because Gao can go either way when it comes to physical or magical damage, it really comes down to player preference on what you want Gao to do. Personally speaking, I think it is much easier to set Gao up to be a strong physical attacker, as it allows us to make use of that 99 attack power without the need for purchasing and managing weapons. Gao's more powerful rages also tend to lean more on the physical side, so that will complement this well. Not really much else to say. Building Gao is the easy part, as the more complicated part of Gao lies with his leap and rage system. Now, because I don't want to be stuck here talking about this feral youth until the heat death of the universe, I am going to give you all the abridged explanation of these abilities, and then let the character speak for himself from that point on. Now, while I think the Kappa did a pretty decent job explaining how Gao's leap works in the Veldt, Rage is going to require a bit more of an explanation. The Rage action allows Gao to use the abilities of the enemies he has found in the Veldt. When you activate Rage, Gao will become uncontrollable, and will begin to act on his own until he is either KO'd or combat ends. Gao will also take on any elemental factors and status immunities or weaknesses that the enemy he has channeled with Rage had. This is why giving Gao relics that can aid in raising his defense and resistances is so important, as what he's weak to will be constantly changing. Each rage that Gao can learn has its own attack, with some being attacks or spells that other characters can learn, like fire or thunder, while others are completely unique to that enemy. Now, because there are well over 200 different enemies that grant Gao a new rage, instead of going over every single one of them right now, I am instead going to show off an image of some of the more well-known rages that players can make use of. Overall, Gao is an incredibly complex character that requires a lot of time and commitment to have his strengths become fully realized, which can also make him a pain to play around in casual playthroughs. Despite this, even with just a little bit of effort, Gao can become a mainstay in your party thanks to his simple game plan and easy-to-understand gear setup. Yeah, Gao is one interesting character. There are some very powerful abilities that he comes with normally, but there's one very important one here in the Veldt that I want to obtain before we conclude our time here. There are a lot of enemies that we've already fought. And again, every single one of them, as long as they aren't a boss, can be fought again here. Now, there are a few key enemies that I'm looking for, and I am trying to see if I can get them. To name two core key enemies that I'm looking for. One is a stray cat. Now, we haven't actually been fully acquainted to the stray cat, as if I remember right, the only time we really saw one was in a piece of character bio for Cayenne's information, and that was basically just B-roll, and it isn't really all that important. But the stray cat itself... Oh, shoot, okay. Don't want to actually accidentally attack Gao here. The stray cat itself actually provides a very powerful physical attack to Gao that he can utilize. And we're going to be trying to look for that. Unfortunately, because Gao cannot learn abilities outside of the enemies that you fought while he left and the enemies that you fought when he came back to you, there's a chance that you can get completely screwed out of, being able to actually obtain stray cats or anything that you're looking for in a reasonable amount of time, because sometimes Gao just decides he doesn't want to come back to you. I'm going to go ahead and take use of this little encounters off exploit with the Tintilabellum to fully heal Sabin right there. Again, I'm not going to be doing that too much, but I mean, I might as well while I've got the ability to. Generally speaking, I'm going to try and keep... Actually, hang on, let me see what I've got for Gao. Okay, so since he's got no defenses or anything right now, I'll go ahead and give him a Plume Tat. And, I mean, Locke's got a Kenpo G, so I can just give this one to Gao. And then, in terms of gear, he doesn't really need anything. But I guess, right now, maybe a Hyper Wrist? I don't really see this being all that useful, though. I don't know, maybe we'll give him the White Cape. Yeah, that sounds fine. I need counters back on. We're going to be looking for the Stray Cat, as I mentioned. And there's also one other enemy that I'm going to be primarily looking for, and not actually for Gao. I'm actually going to be looking for a Satellite, which is the weird, claw UFO enemy that we fought in the Imperial camp when we were trying to chase after Kefka. That enemy has a decent chance of dropping a green beret, which is what Sabin is currently equipped with. And I would be perfectly okay if I could just grab a few of those. And while we're fighting these guys, we'll be getting quite a bit of gil back, which is useful. Hopefully this enemy Gao does not reappear against this Angel Whisper since I've already got this. And he did, of course. Thankfully, in this version of the game, if you have a predetermined action set, like Cayenne was about to attack the Angel Whisper, but he didn't. He was kind of stuck in the attack animation, but it gives you the option to sort of, rethink your action. That wasn't a thing in previous versions, especially the SNES version. You had to be very careful about whether or not you wanted to have your characters attack, because there's a decent chance that you would accidentally hit Gao. If you hit Gao, he gets scared and run away, and you need to go back, grab some dried meat in order to get him back. Gao is very, very important right now, so try not to lose him. Especially since he has a shiny thing he wants to show us at the Crescent Mountain, which we heard is home to a potential way of getting to Narsh. So again, we want to keep him around, and we want to try and build him up as much as possible while we still have him around here. But okay, so whenever we get Gao back here, we can actually see that he comes with a few abilities that are already pretty good. But again, we got a few to find, and unfortunately, there really isn't a good way of accurately predicting what you're going to fight and when Gao's going to come back. So there's a decent chance that you're going to be stuck here for a while before you get what you want. I remember a few playthroughs ago, I've played through this game a lot, so it might have been a few, I don't know. But anyway, a few playthroughs ago, I remember being stuck out here for like an hour and a half, or give or take, just waiting for stray cats to spawn. And finally, I got it, because, well, I mean, stray cats constantly spawned in, but it was never in a fight where Gao either leapt or came back from. So I was stuck, just having the stupid stray cats taunt me for almost over an hour, and just never could get it to work. Let's go ahead and leap again. There's a Belmadar. Gao doesn't have anything from Belmadar, so if Gao comes back here, that will be a nice addition. Throughout the playthrough, you can constantly be revisiting the Veldt after you've obtained new enemies on your bestiary. So I will be making it a main priority for me to come back to the Veldt every now and then to make sure that Gao's abilities are up to speed. Speaking of, let's go ahead and take a look at those. Rage. So currently he has access to, what is this, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 abilities right now? Which is a lot. Every single one of these have their own unique abilities. Not all of them are very good, but they are unique. There are the Stray Cat, the reason why I'm making such a big fuss about it is because it has a unique ability that is very powerful throughout the majority of the game. And I want to see if I can get it. Gao, you gonna leap here, buddy? Or is he gonna not want to leap? Okay, there we go. We got him to leap. There we go. He'll learn the Magitech armor stuff there. It's really interesting. The Veldt is such a unique idea in terms of the world of Final Fantasy VI. For some reason, every single creature in the known world, except for like a few unique things, are just naturally drawn to the Veldt. And that includes humans. We have the settlement of Moblets, and we even have Magitech armor and Imperials here. It's obviously that probably doesn't have anything to do with the actual lore of the world, especially with the Empire being here and whatnot. But it is kind of an interesting little thing that there's something about the Veldt that just kind of draws people here. And you know what my current theory is? It's the music. The music draws everything here. This is such a cool song. I let it play out a little bit during. Oh, hello. I let it play out during the previous episode. And it's a banger of a song, in my opinion. It's a really good song. If you ever get the chance to listen to it, I highly recommend it, whether it's the original version or the Pixel Remaster version. I haven't really gone into it, but the GBA ports soundtrack isn't my favorite. But, I mean, Stray Cats. But, I mean, if you like it, you know? Okay, let's see if we can finally get the Stray Cat. I guess another thing regarding Gao's Leap and whatnot, Leap is only available in the Veldt, as the Imp explained, but there are historically some funny glitches that you can do with Gao's Leap here in the Veldt that might be interesting to pull off later in the playthrough. Okay, so Gao actually has shown up again in the Veldt after fighting Stray Cats, which means, yay, he gets the Stray Cat ability. We'll be seeing what that does here later. We're trying to build up Gao before we try to use him in any real combat scenario. So next, while I try to grab as many rage abilities as I can, I'm going to be looking for this stupid satellites. Oh, I guess Gao's enraged now. He's in Berserk, so I can't leap. But as we can see, his regular fist attacks are pretty strong because he has 99 strength, and his physical attack is nothing to scoff at either. So his standard attack, and I mean, he's obviously Berserked as well. That definitely helps it. But yeah. He's a fairly strong character. He's one that I think is generally underrated, and I mean, I'm pretty guilty of never really using him to his full potential either. But I'll be trying to rectify that in this playthrough, even if I don't consider him to be a major player in the story, and I probably won't use him as much as people either want me to or expect me to. But I'll be trying to give every single character their own time in the spotlight, and trust me, Gao will have his time. I guess another thing I need to talk about is that the Veldt is a very good place to obtain Gil, especially because you cannot earn EXP here, so you are perfectly okay to grind Gil here on any version of the game without needing to worry about any potential overlevels or whatnot. Especially since I'm trying to keep my level count as low as possible right now, without going into like low level challenge run territory. I'm trying to keep it fairly modest. This is an excellent place to like earn money and earn back a lot of the funds I just blew on a white cape and the side quest here for the Tintillabolum. So trying to earn back some of those funds is not a bad idea. But anyway, I will see you back for whenever I finally find one of these stupid satellites. Oh, you're just taunting past me now, aren't you, Gao? Giving me multiple stray cat appearances. Finally, I found it! But I can't leap with Gao to get its ability because... whatever. I'm not here for its ability anyways. Let's go ahead and rage and see if we can use the stray cat. Unfortunately, I am blinded now. The stray cat. What am I gonna get? Cat Scratch. 576 damage from it. That's a very powerful attack. Satellites have decently high physical defense, so that's pretty impressive. There's Mega Berserk. Who's that gonna hit? Sabin. We actually should kill it here. Maybe? No, we missed Cat Scratch. That's okay. Okay, we're definitely not in the best position right now. Let's try to High Potion Gao, so we don't lose him. Unfortunately, Kyan's gonna kind of have to fight this alone, because we've got everyone blinded, and Sabin is currently berserked. So let's try and at least eye drop Gao. There's an alarm. We didn't get to see this, but the satellite has the ability to sound an alarm to call in allies. Cat Scratch there is finishing off the satellite, though. And we're gonna try and see if we can finish this off ourselves. This Cat Scratch put in some good work there. 700 damage against the standard soldiers. Hey, a Green Beret, let's go. So I think I was at this for about 35 minutes before finally running into one satellite. And I got one Green Beret. Yeah. I mean, this is a very good headpiece. This is honestly, like, one of the best headpieces for, like, Sabin and whatnot. But it's definitely something. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this on Gao, as it'll give him a decent boost to evasion and also a decent boost to defense as well. I could give him the bandana and actually wait and give Locke the Green Beret, though. Because I was originally going to give the bandana to Locke. Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and save that Green Beret for a rainy day. But, yeah. I mean, realistically speaking, that's all the Veldt has for us. I'm not intending to grab every single rage I can right now, as obviously I don't have the satellites. But this is a pretty good amount. Obviously, by the end of this series, I will grab every single rage, but because I have already spoiled that we'll be going back to the Veldt a few times throughout this playthrough, whenever we have more enemies on the bestiary, I will be covering it then. But I think for right now, this is a pretty decent place to stop. We got to know Gao, a very interesting party member, and one that is very welcome in our party. And we also got to hang around the Veldt, which is a completely unique area that we haven't seen at all in this playthrough so far. So, next time on Final Fantasy VI, we will be following up on Gao's little shiny treasure within the Crescent Moon Cave, which we also heard potentially holds a way back to Narshe. So, with that said, I'll see you soon.